Good evening, everybody. It's always special to speak to Leander Paes. I must begin on a personal note. This man is a super inspiration for me. He has defined tenacity, courage, the ability of Indians to do brilliantly in international sport. 18 Grand Slams, a bronze medal in the Olympics, an International Hall of Famer. And just when you thought that Leander should sit quietly and retire and, he's done enough for one lifetime, he decides to be a politician. So, Leander, why did you get into politics?
Good afternoon, Vishnu. It's such an honor to be here at NDTV Ignite. And firstly, thank you to everyone. I know that sometimes aviation takes a little time to get here, but I really appreciate you. Passion, the Tiranga, 1.5 billion people. That's always moved me. You've known my career for long. I live with the flag in my heart. I live with the Tiranga in my veins. And yes, after winning those Grand Slams, after playing 7 Olympics for the country, putting India on the global map for sport, I could have very easily have rested. But my late father, who passed away 8 months ago, left me with 2 visions. One, empower 500 million children in India through sports. That's not just playing sport, but that is also the curriculum of sport. Not everyone can be an MS Dhoni or a Virat Kohli or a Roger Federer or so on and so forth.
And I mean, in India, you are very much an icon at that level. Why did you feel that you needed to be in politics to achieve that goal of inspiring millions of young people into sport?
I feel that to do great governance, you got to go through politics. In that, I'm highly inspired by our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji. I've always built teams. I've had 186 doubles partners and 26 mixed doubles partners. Teams are what I thrive on. And when I look at Indian politics, the double engine of a state government that is aligned with a national government is how states thrive. For me, sport is a state issue. It's not yet a national issue. Every single state governs its own sporting curriculum. So the physical education classes that we look at are very archaic. My job is to take sports science, take sports training, biomechanics, mental health, physical health, emotional health, to each child out there in the country, firstly through states, then in through villages, and go out and scout the talent, and then bring that talent into training academies to make a healthier, better India.
Am I talking to a future sports minister of India?
That is not for me to say. I've always earned my stripes.
Am I talking to a future MLA or MP?
Not for me to say. I play to a captain, and I will follow my captain. I believe tremendously in him. And the way that Modi ji has supported the Olympic movement, the way he has supported Khelo India, to go out into rural India and select talent to bring them in. So Baba had 60 years of sports science knowledge on human genetics, bone density, muscle density, on how you can scout talent in a very scientific way. We use Western technology, but Eastern philosophy on how we can check if a child is left-handed, they should play an apparatus sport. Why? Because human biomechanics tell us that the left wrist is 0.3 millimeters longer than the right wrist. So any person who's left-handed has a distinct biomechanical advantage of more range of movement.
Is that why Ivanisevic had that crazy serve?
100%.
The guy who you beat in Davis Cup, right?
John McEnroe, Ivanisevic, Martina Navratilova, Brian Lara, Clive Lloyd, the list goes on. Lefties have a distinct advantage with their wrists, 0.3 millimeters longer than the right.
I'm going to talk about sport extensively, but let's talk a little bit more about politics. West Bengal has seen an incredible change. The BJP coming into power, many felt that Mamata Banerjee's bastion could never be sort of defeated or taken down, but it has. I do know that in the past, somebody like a Saurav Ganguly was approached not just by the BJP, but by the Trinamool Congress as well at many levels. Were you approached by the Trinamool to be a part politically at any stage?
Yes, I've been approached for 20 years to be a part of the Trinamool. I never ever stood for the Trinamool, but at the same time, I wanted to learn whether the public would take to me or whether I was fit for this job. So in Goa, about 6 years ago, I went in and I studied the business of politics. I went to every individual home that I could get to, markets, public places, met with the people, went into Grassroots of India to really see how the people received me. I believe just because I'm a professional tennis player and a Grand Slam champion doesn't make me fit for every job. I earn my stripes. I want to earn my stripes just as I did with tennis, so as in politics, so as in governance, so as in developing sport in the country. So I said no for 20 years. And it's not just the Trinamool who approached. It was the Congress as well. It was other different parties as well. But I think it's not just ideology, it's leadership. I'm a doubles player. I build teams. I have not seen a better doubles team than Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji. These two gentlemen share a special connect, a special trust, a special bond. And India today is in the top 5 economies in the world because of our leadership. And I really believe that a team develops success.
Leander, what would you do in Bengal beyond sport? There is a lot, there's so much. For example, industrial development has been an area of concern. There have been constant issues, for example, with whether GST revenues are achieving enough. Perhaps now they'll achieve more than they have in the past. Beyond sport, what would you do for the common person in Bengal?
Wish we'd need a weekend. To start with law and order, to keep our women, our children safe.
That's top priority?
Number one priority is law and order. Without law and order, we're leading a jungly state. What was happening in West Bengal before was utter debauchery. When you look at today, the sentiment in Bengal has shifted. Young women are out in the streets, walking around, going to cafes, going to restaurants, in groups, going to enjoy themselves freely with confidence that they could wear a skirt or a pair of clothes that they choose, not be told that they should not step out after 8 p.m.
But in Bengal, in Kolkata, it's always been more safe for women. Is that something that's changed over a period of time?
Yes, I don't want to state specific situations. We're all very aware of them. But Bengal used to be one of the greatest states in the country, industry-wise, safety-wise, tourism-wise, sporting-wise. We got one of the best sporting cultures, whether it's football or whether it's tennis or whether it's cricket at Eden Gardens or Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, or whether it's the number of champions we've produced in tennis with Jaideep Mukherjee, Premjit Lal, Naresh Kumar, Zishan Ali, Leander Paes, the list goes on. But what was happening in West Bengal was that we were getting so far left behind. Now what has changed is that people are believing that Bengal is going to rise again. How? To answer your question. First is law and order. Second is education. Third is to encourage entrepreneurship. To encourage individuals that if you come and invest in West Bengal, whether it's the real estate, whether it's business, whether it's a young woman who's just finished college and trying to come to Bombay or Delhi or Bangalore or Hyderabad to make her business, she can also do it in West Bengal. That confidence has to be brought back. Yeah. That you get a return for your investment. Not just investment in money, Vish, but also in time, in effort, in building India. Viksit Bharat is something that has to thrive in Bengal too. So hence industry. We got to bring in the Tatas back again. We got to bring in the Mahindras back again. We got to bring in the Bengali businessmen who left West Bengal. And I could talk about whether it's the Marwari businessmen or the Bengali businessmen or any community. It's not communal, which is what we've seen in Bengal over the last 50 years. Yeah. It started becoming a communal state rather than an Indian state that could thrive.
Yeah. No, and to your point about safety of women, it is important because so much changed when RG Kaur was reported and that horrific incident which took place, and that's not the only one. But let's talk a little bit about sport as well. For starters, Indian tennis has never quite been what it was since you and Mahesh retired. It's been a while now. Is that a big problem, a concern?
It was a massive problem, Bish. Until
remains
about,
so.
until about 4 weeks ago, the All India Tennis Association was sitting in the Supreme Court because 2 athletes challenged All India Tennis Association on the governance of it. Now, for me, in a country that has an sporting governance like the BCCI, other sports need to learn from the BCCI, need to learn how one sport can become an entire movement to move the nation. And this is where Modi ji is a huge difference. Before his governance, sport was a competition. Sport was representation. Chalo Olympics jaake khelte hum. Today, Olympics is how many medals are we going to bring back? One of my favorite sporting sports ministers was Kiran Rijiju.
Right.
And Kiran sir was given that mandate and that power to build the top scheme, to empower the top Olympic athletes. Khelo India was to go and build the grassroots for sport. So when you look under Modi ji's governance, India has won 7 Olympics at the Olympic medals in Tokyo. Now let's go further beyond that. The passion for the athletes. Modi ji meets and inspires every team of India that goes out to represent India in the sporting field. There were some athletes, no names taken, who had knee injuries. They were looked after, taken care of. Their medicals, their surgeries, their rehab was taken care of by the top scheme. During the COVID pandemic, one of our great athletes needed a COVID vaccination. Yeah. He was given a COVID vaccination in a corridor of an airport, also looked after by the sports ministry and Kiran Rijiju then. There was one athlete who had a rotator cuff injury. She could not partake at the best of her ability unless she got solid treatment. Personally taken care of, she came on and performed excellently well.
But just to push on the point of Indian tennis, just growing up, for me it was always Vijay Amritraj and then Anand Amritraj when they played doubles. It was Ramesh Krishnan, there was Leander Paes, there was Zishan, and then of course down the road there was Sania also who did brilliantly for India. But it's stopped right now. In the past when you all played, finances were a huge, huge problem. It still is, but perhaps not to the same extent. There are advertisers who are aware now. But where is the talent?
The talent is out there. We need good governance to recognize the talent, bring it to state academies bring it to the national academies, and then develop them into world champions and Wimbledon champions.
Why isn't that happening?
Let's not forget that today, India holds the world record in tennis of 7 consecutive Olympics. Yeah. That's the world record. Today, India holds 50 Grand Slam titles. That's a massive number. In that, in
of
tennis...
which you got 18, right?
In that, India also has the distinct honor of saying we were number 1 in the world in the field of doubles in tennis. Yeah. Wimbledon champions, French Open champions. So to answer your question, give me 18 months.
And what would you do in that period?
In that, the first step, and thanks to our sports ministry, thanks to good governance, the All India Tennis Association is back out of the Supreme Court. Now we are building. So today I sit as the president of the Bengal Tennis Association. I've built a roadmap to hence bring a professionalism into tennis. A professionalism where you let the lawyers do the legal, the finance guys build the model, the tax guys do the taxes, audit every single state association, audit every national governing body. But in there, in tennis, is to also bring international quality coaching systems. So Baba and my ability to do genetic testing, bone testing, muscle density, you can then use sports science to get into the rural areas, use the Khelo India movement, go state by state recognizing talent, and then empower the state association where their state association tennis academy gets funded, where these young talent in rural areas come to the state association to play.
When you were growing up, I think 16, 17, you gained immensely from the Britannia Amritraj Trust. You used to slog hours and hours and hours in the sun of what was then Madras. Do we have that sort of system still in the country? Where you've got institutes in India which actually can potentially groom the talent to have another Leander Paes sooner than later?
100%. You see, Vish, your intelligence and your knowledge is beautiful. Today, a lot of kids are sitting on their smart gadgets inside AC rooms and chilling. That's the new word. We need to get Gen Z excited about playing sport. We need to get into their bedrooms that are generally locked, where their parents don't even have access in unless they knock, in the parents' house. The connect between the Gen Z and the parents is where I feel the void is. When we use an ability to educate the parents, to inspire the kids, to make tennis cool again, to make tennis really fun again, the shoes, the clothes, the rackets, the headbands, the guys like McEnroes and the Bogues and the Beckers and the Agassiz.
You fought
and
with
the
McEnroe in
Williamses.
that match, right? It was, you were playing for Washington, weren't you?
I don't like someone going after India.
You had a solid fight with him on that, but you keep talking about him. What's your personal equation with him now? Sorted?
It's wonderful. I have so much respect for John McEnroe. He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. He's a typical New Yorker. And when New Yorkers push you around, you got to push back.
Would I be wrong if I said that your touch game at the net was actually as good, if not better than his?
You would never get me to agree to that. I have too much respect for the athletes out there. I think to build India, we need to take examples like this, who are characters who, when they walk into their community, they're recognized for their craft. When they walk into a classroom, they're recognized for who they are. लोग पूछते थे जब मैं छोटा था, लोग पूछते थे औकात क्या है तेरा? आप कह रहे कि विंबलडन जीतेंगे.
In North India, they say औकात क्या है on a daily basis. But go ahead, yeah.
I'm having to earn my stripes now in politics too. But in that, it's important to empower the youth. We have 745 million approximate kids under the age of 26. For me, Baba's vision of 500 million over the next 20 years is a very simple target through sport. So today I have the Flying Man Academies. I just come from there. I have an Olympic Academy in Odisha. It's with the Kalinga Institute. On a day-to-day level, Vish, I've got 100,000 children, 1 lakh children living under the roof, eating, sleeping, educating, and playing sport. So 16 Olympic sports over the last 12 years. 1 lakh children are looked after by 20,000 staff. Over the last 12 years at the Kalinga Institute with Dr. Achutya Samanta, we've developed 24 Olympic athletes, 17 Paralympic athletes, and 2.4 million students who've graduated from there. Now the task is to multiply that. India is such a large geographical landmass. So the way that I envision it is north, south, east, west, central. We need 5 Olympic academies in the country that where the elite athletes go through. Now that is top scheme, that is Olympics, that is Asian Games, that is World Championships. But where it starts, Vish, is actually at the grassroots. It's about going into rural India. It's about taking the Khelo India movement and the Fit India movement. Again, under our leader Narendra Modi ji's guidance, yoga's become fashionable. Breathing techniques, ujjayi breath, yoga techniques, all these.
Was that a part of your routine as well?
100%.
In sport, yoga? From a young age?
From the age of 11, I learned ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is 3 different styles. Right now, while I'm talking to you, someone in front of a camera, in front of an audience with a mic that's echoing, you got to slow your pulse down. So right now, I'm breathing a slow breath. In through my nose, out through my mouth, just nice and easy. 2, because we have a great rapport and we have so much love and respect for each other, I'm excited with you. Because now we're talking about how Viksit Bharat can grow through sport. How can Leander use his broad shoulders to help India grow? I feel there is a direct correlation between the countries that perform the best at the Olympics, that their GDPs and their global standing is equivalent.
Leander, we're running short on time, but I'm going to ask you a couple of things which, because your tennis and your career, it's just something else.
Thank you.
It broke my heart and certainly the hearts of a lot of your fans when you and Mahesh broke up on the tennis court. It was just awful. I'll say that to you as a friend. Are you guys friends now?
Yes, we are. We've always been friends.
But has there been is it an edgy sort of equation, or I mean,
You know, I'm going to answer it this way because Mahesh is not in the room. I am the older partner by a couple weeks. In that, if I had the wisdom back then to sit back and control the team, to not let outsiders come in, I think everything would have been fine. Not many people believed that we were going to be number one in the world when we said we would. No one believed me, not even Mahesh, when I said, shall we go win Wimbledon together? He laughed at me. I said, give me 10 years. 10 years, 10,000 hours, 3 million perfect repetitions, we will win Wimbledon. And we did in 1999. Yeah. So in that, I felt if I had the wisdom back then to play the leader better, I think the team would have been the greatest of all time.
Leander, you've had some, just a few, I should say, but incredible wins against top singles players, throughout your career. What is the most memorable one? For me, looking back at Leander, I think it was the match against Ivanisevic, which I found was incredible. But you've beaten Sampras as well, right?
Four times. I've never lost to Sampras.
That's incredible. Is that something that is a bit of a regret? When you started out, you were just this extraordinary talent, not just doubles, but singles as well, that somehow your singles game didn't quite end up being where you would have wanted or we would have wanted.
I gave up my singles to prove to India we could be Grand Slam champions. To me, that mattered most. For me, the Tiranga always comes before self. You know, when we look at our Fojis, we look at our forces, we rest our heads peacefully on our pillows because they are out there putting their lives on the line for us. I think as a national athlete or as a patriot or as a nationalist for the country, country comes before self. I have two parents who played for India. Mum's jersey was number 5, captaining Indian basketball. Dad's jersey was number 10 in the field hockey in the center half. Today I don't have parents, but I have a country. I have people.
And that bronze medal means
leader.
The world for you, right? It's that Tiranga, which means the world for you. That Olympic, he's got tears in his eyes. When he talks about India, he's always had his nation on his heart sleeve. Always. That's Leander Paes. He does, it happens all the time. But it's important that I should ask you this. People would say, and there are many stars in tennis who have said, no, Grand Slam first, Olympic we'll see later on. For you, it was the flag first, right? That bronze medal means a lot.
Yes. To answer the first question, the bronze medal is pride of place at home. My Baba's bronze medal and my bronze medal sit right next to each other. So we're the only father-son combination who've got 2 Olympic medals sitting right next to each other. 1972 Munich Olympics inspired me. I was conceived during the 4 days of the Israeli fiasco in Munich. Wow. So I was an Olympic baby. I was born for a reason in the world to prove that India could be champions in an individual sport, especially in a sport like tennis, where we're never known for winning Grand Slams. We were never known for winning Olympic medals. So now my job is to make sure we bring the Olympics to India. Under our leadership, it would be my greatest honor, my pride of place, even more than my own Olympics, to see Indian boys and girls win an Olympic medal on Indian soil. That is my passion now. Under the leadership of Shri Narendra Modi ji and under the leadership of our BJP team, to make sure that the Olympics comes to Bharat.
Are you a cricket fan? I know I shouldn't be asking a tennis player this question because they're like, you guys just keep focusing on cricket. But I have to ask you because there's this thing called IPL now. And I've grown up loving test cricket more than anything else. But it's a new India. There's a new interest level in IPL. It's changing the nature of Indian sport and cricket. Are you a fan of T20 cricket?
You were very specific with your question. I wish you not came to that last T20 side. I'm a big fan of Test cricket. I love that. But you also got to admire the governance of cricket. You also got to admire the IPL for being the best sporting league on the planet. Yes. You got to admire the way that it's linked Ranji Trophy cricketers and cricketers who would have never been known if not for the IPL, to then get into the national squad. I think the IPL is actually responsible for the depth of cricket in our country. Today, India could probably field 3 World Cup teams.
Easily.
And probably 2 of the 3 would probably be in the finals.
A final question to you. It is on tennis. You've got Alcaraz, and you've got Sinner now. There's that baseline game which dominates. I was just going through old videos on YouTube, watching you and your style of serve and volley. Edberg, one of my heroes, and the art of the net game and the pace of the game in the 90s, and then things were slowed down with the balls, and it just seems that the tennis of the 90s, which we have forgotten about, was so much more exciting. That's my view.
This competitiveness between Sinner and Alcaraz, between Sabalenka and Swiatek and Goff and the rest, now Serena coming back.
Yeah.
I think every generation has an evolution, and I'm very interested to see the next 5 years of tennis, especially the next 5 years of tennis in India. And I won't be surprised if India then has, in 5 years from now, a representative in the Olympics that can do well.
Well, that's a wonderful way of ending this conversation. 5 years from now, an Indian in the Olympics, tennis at the highest standard, and hopefully winning Grand Slams like Leander. But, you know, Leander, you are such an inspiration to young people in this country. And I think your larger mission for sports and your ambition as a politician, and perhaps sports through politics, is noble. And we all over here wish you the very best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vish.
Thanks.